Hello and welcome to the State of District 88. I'm Dr. Scott Helton, Superintendent of District 88, and I thank you for joining us today. This ongoing segment features the news and successes of District 88, which is comprised of Addison Trail and Willowbrook High Schools. We look forward to sharing with you the great accomplishments of your hometown high schools through this program. Today we are excited to highlight several amazing athletic accomplishments our student athletes have achieved this winter season, as well as 4 students who recently competed in a state-level auto competition. From Addison Trail, we'll speak with 3 students who competed in the Illinois High School Association, or IHSA, Wrestling State Tournament. From Willowbrook, we'll speak with students who competed in the Universal Technical Institute High School Top Tech Challenge, an all-state bowler, 2 boys basketball players who have earned all-state level honors, and a state and national wrestling champion. With me, our Willowbrook principal, Dr. Dan Kraus, students, senior Jack Jessen, junior Levi Benson, senior Ethan Schumer, and junior Holly Helsper. Well, Mr. Kraus, it's Dr. Kraus. It's been quite a winter at Willowbrook. Do you want to kind of give us the highlights?
Sure. It's been very exciting, obviously, athletically, and also through all of our activities that I know we'll have an opportunity to speak about in the future. But obviously, 4 amazing examples from our winter athletic teams. And just thinking back now to the month of February and early March when these students were competing, and the building was, truly electric because of their accomplishments. From our girls bowling team, the entire team qualifying to go to state after becoming regional champions, sectional champions, and then going down as a full team to state. To Jack competing at the IHSA Wrestling State Championship, 4th time qualifying and earning that state championship this year. And then our boys basketball team earning the opportunity to compete at the regional level and regional championship, and then moving on to sectionals and losing a tough sectional final game, but an amazing season, setting a school record for wins. Ethan being recognized as an all-state player. Levi, who shoots lights out every moment he steps on the court when he comes into a game, hitting threes from everywhere, was a 3-point state qualifier. So, these are just tremendous examples of an amazing winter season we had, and excited that they were able to join us today.
And I know your team was quite challenged because you like to attend the events that the students are participating in. And on one weekend, you were in Rockford for a bowling tournament. You went to Peoria for speech, and then you came to see Jack win a state championship in Champaign. So quite
cruise control is a beautiful thing. You just sort of set it and roll, and then you come on back and check out the basketball team, as well as then the theater program as they were getting ready for their competitive play, drama production. So it's been a fun winter, and it's always a good time when you get to put that many miles on the car.
Well, without further ado, Holly, why don't you tell us a little bit about your bowling story? And it's unique because you didn't bowl in grade school leading up to high school. You picked up bowling during high school. You want to talk about your bowling story here?
So my mom forced me to do bowling, and I was like, Mom, I don't want to do bowling. She's like, no, you're doing bowling whether you like it or not. I was like, well, okay. So then the first day I bowl, I went like that. And the coach is like, oh no, you're not doing that. I was like, what? He's like, no, that's not how you bowl. So then during the middle of the year, then I finally got my own ball, and then it just progressively got better since then.
When did you know you were going to be a state level competitor? When did you get that feeling during your career?
Probably sophomore year towards the end, just because then we started to pick up, and then I started actually bowl. So. Yeah.
How often do you practice? Do you practice a lot during the off season or just mainly during the season?
I try and practice usually people bowl every single day. I don't have that luxury since I play softball during the spring, but I try to practice as much as I can.
Okay, so you're 2 sport athletes, softball and bowling. And then tell us a little bit about the state competition. You're in Rockford, and your bowling alley is just filled with bowlers, right?
Yeah, it was so intimidating.
How many people qualify for state? Probably over 100? Is that?
Yeah, probably a little bit over 100.
Okay, and then you have to compete to get into the second day, correct?
Yes.
Oh, so you have teams of bowlers. I know I've been there a few times, and people have to stand on step ladders to see the competition.
It's packed.
So memorable experience.
Oh yeah, for sure.
And then we have you back next year also because you're just a junior, so we're looking for great things.
Yeah.
Well, Levi, state qualifier in the three-point competition. Why don't you tell us a little bit about your experience?
Yeah, so again, to the Peoria Civic Center, my focus was to just, clear my mind, take it easy. They gave us some time to actually practice before the event, so I was feeling pretty confident going in. Yeah, there was a lot of really good shooters there, so it was a very good experience, and I was very honored to represent my school there at the three-point showdown.
So now to get there, all schools have representatives at the regional level, and then a select few move on to the sectional, and then every level they take the final 3 or 4. Is that correct? Or?
Yeah, and the unique thing is going to the regional, we had our 4 guys, me, Sikander, Matas, and Scotty. And out of the 4 guys that won the regional to make it to the sectional, all 4 of us made it out of all the schools. So that was pretty good. Yeah.
Okay. A lot of practice to be a good three-point shooter.
Oh yeah, a lot of practice.
How much time do you spend in the gym shooting basketball?
Every day, I try to get in the gym and shoot. And I also would like to thank my shooting coach Bob Ray, because back, I would say, going into my sophomore year, he really shaped up my shooting form, and ever since then, I've just been a whole lot better shooter than I was before. So,
Okay.
yeah.
And we look for great things. You're just a junior also.
Yeah.
So now we're going to say goodbye to a couple seniors in a few weeks. But we really had some special careers. Ethan Schumer, All-State in basketball, scored 1,000 points, which is you're the first person in the history of Willowbrook High School to score 1,000 points. You'll be going off on a basketball scholarship to St. Cloud State. So why don't you talk to us a little bit about what does it take to be on that level? Obviously, you've got skills and abilities, but what did it take to get those skills to the level of All-State in a state that's one of the best states in the country in basketball?
Yeah, it was really tough, It requires a lot of work in the gym, not just when you practice after school, but you got to make sure you're doing plenty of work on your own. And it's funny because up until about sophomore year, I had no clue that I wanted to play college basketball. Like baseball had always been kind of my thing. I'd always played since I was little, and I played basketball too, but travel baseball and stuff like that. And talking to coaches, and as I was playing in high school, I was like, this is something I definitely want to pursue at the next level in college. So. I kept with that. I started playing AAU basketball, which was huge, helped me get exposure to some of the college coaches and stuff like that, and ended up getting a scholarship from St. Cloud, and it was awesome. I visited the school. It was a great school. So, and to get to that point, I had to make sure I was doing everything I could to get better, and it was awesome to have the amount of support around me with my family, my coaches, and my teammates, and it was a great experience to get to that point.
A lot of time in the gym. Obviously, you're playing. How many games do you think you play a year between AAU and high school?
I don't even, probably 70 to 80 games around there, I would say.
And then in the gym on your own time too, perfecting skills that'll make you a better player.
Exactly, yeah.
Wow, incredible. Well, congratulations.
Thank you.
Jack Jessen, I've had you you're 4 for 4 as far as years being here and years talking about your success, but this February you were state champion in wrestling. Also after that you followed, and we had you on right after summer because you were a national champion in Greco-Roman wrestling. You took state in folk style, and then right after that you went to the folk style nationals and won the whole thing. And why don't you tell us a little bit about this year for you, some of the highlights and what it took for you to get there?
This year was definitely different than the other years in past, and I was really, having it be my last year and being a senior, I was really hungry for that state title, not having it and so coming so close and just coming up short. It really motivated me to train harder, to practice more, to find ways to get better and make sure that I was going to come short this year.
So you're going to go off to Northwestern University and wrestle for the Wildcats next year, so we're going to miss you. But how about your training this year? What kind of time did you spend, training to get ready for this state competition this year?
Yeah, it definitely took a lot of training. I would go in, leaving, having a 6-period day at school, coming out a little early, going to the gym, getting the lift in, going to high school practice, and then maybe catching up an extra practice later on at night. Doing 3 practices a day on top of classes. So it was definitely tough. But I kept telling myself that this is good. This is what I need to do to win the state title, and this is what makes a difference.
Thank you. Now, Chance, if I'm a young athlete and I'm sitting at home watching this, and watching two of the best basketball players in the state, one of the best bowlers in the state, and one of the best wrestlers in the state, and I want to be like you guys, what advice would you have for me? I'm watching this, and I want to be like you. What would you say I need to do as a young athlete?
You just got to make sure you're doing it for yourself as well. You get a lot of support from everyone around you, but they can only give you so much. It's a matter of how much you want it, how much you want to go after and try to succeed. So it's just all the work you put in combined with that support, and you should be able to accomplish what you want.
Thank you.
Yeah, just make sure you love the game and put in the work.
Just make sure you find a passion that you love and enjoy, and see yourself doing later on in life, and give it all you got. You never know when it might be time to end up.
Yeah, and believe in yourself is really the first step to it. Really gotta have faith in yourself, believe that you can do it, and have the confidence that you can do it, and you can achieve anything you choose to.
Thank you. Dr. Kraus, obviously with this kind of athletic success, it creates a buzz in the hallways. You want to talk about that and what this kind of success does for the culture at Willowbrook High School?
We talk about that quite a bit, and especially as students, continue on through their high school career, that you have one opportunity really to experience these types of things in high school and to make the most of it. And these are great examples, but also how to set that standard and be a role model and ultimately leave a legacy and a foundation for all the other warriors that are going to follow you. So there are 6th graders, 7th graders, 8th graders right now that I know that have been to camps with you or come and watch your games, or will see this on TV and ultimately inspire them because of that passion, because of the commitment that they want to have for the game and for the sport, but ultimately for themselves. Because you're all absolutely right. You have to believe in yourself to accomplish the things you've accomplished, because ultimately you're the ones who do the work. We get the pleasure of watching you, cheering you on, probably being a little crazy on the sidelines, but we've played our games, we don't get to play anymore. So we kind of get a chance to really highlight that. And the fun part was this winter, watching all the fans come out to see you guys in different capacities, and the celebrations when you came back. And then when we had our Brook Olympics assembly to be able to highlight each of all of your accomplishments. It truly has set the building at a new level. And I can't thank you guys enough on behalf of everybody at Willowbrook and District 88 for what you've done and set a new standard. Because now everybody who follows you knows that they're trying to do even more. So thank you.
One last opportunity to publicly acknowledge and give a shout out. I know, Levi, you thanked your shooting coach, but anybody else who you'd like to recognize for helping you to get where you're at today? Start with you, Ethan.
Yeah, I'd obviously like to thank my family. Without them, I wouldn't have been able to do what I could. They always pushed me to be my hardest, do my best, and that helped me out a lot. And obviously the entire Willowbrook coaching staff, especially Coach Perkins. He's been, ever since I was in 5th grade for the feeder team, he's been, kind of riding. He knew I had potential, so he wanted to make sure I was doing what I was doing, and obviously I was. And it helped me achieve what's gotten me here.
How about you, Holly?
I'd just like to thank my mom for pushing me, and my parent, and my dad, and my sister for always believing in me and helping me get the equipment that I need.
Thank you. Jack?
Oh wow, that's a long list. So first, I want to thank the school, for all their support and in everything I do, they always had my back. I also want to thank my head coach, Brandon Murphy. He really put a lot of time and effort into making sure I was ready for the season. I also like to thank Israel Martinez, who has definitely helped me in the off season, prepare me for my Greco national title. That was he was definitely a big contributor for that. I like to thank my family for everything they've done, putting up with the long road trips, the late nights, everything. And then most importantly, I want to thank my dad. He's the reason why I got into this sport when I was 5, and he's really helped push me and get me to the point where I'm at. And he's probably the biggest reason for who I am today.
Thank you. How about you, Levi?
First and foremost, I'd like to thank my Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ, because without him, I wouldn't be where I'm at today, and all things are possible through him. I'd like to thank my father. He's been my role model ever since I was a little kid. He played college basketball, and he was a lights out shooter as well. So I always wanted to be like my father, you know. I'd like to thank my mom, because my mom really, she gives me all the love and support to go out every day and work on my game. And I'd like to thank Bob Ray again, you know, for helping my shot get to where it is today. I'd like to thank Coach Chris Perkins and Coach Ferguson for bringing me in, because I was a transfer here to Willowbrook, and they gave me a lot of support. And I also like to thank Principal Dan Kraus, because all the students at Willowbrook, they're very great kids, and all of them were very welcoming to me, and I have a lot of really good friends here at Willowbrook, and I'm very thankful for that. Thank you.
Well, Ethan, Holly, Jack Levi, thank you for sharing your stories with us today, and congratulations on your great success. We'll be right back to highlight 4 automotive students who finished in first, second, and third place at the Universal Technical Institute High School Top Tech Challenge. Welcome back. With me now are Willowbrook Principal Dr. Dan Kraus and Willowbrook students, Senior Christian Dublin, Senior Matthew Seymour, Senior Zach Olson, and Junior Zachary Grollo was not able to be here with us. Dr. Kraus, why don't you tell us a little bit about the guys who are with us today and their unbelievable success this past winter?
Well, we're really excited to have the 3 gentlemen with us, as they obviously are on display their incredible trophies, which are unique in their own right, as is their competition. You know, the UTI Top Tech Challenge is not something that's an everyday competition because of the preparation that they do. I have the pleasure of watching them in a variety of different capacities, including in a competition like this. But one of the highlights is our curriculum showcase, where it's an 8th grade transition night. And these are the guys that are in the middle of our cafeteria breaking down an engine and putting it back together in a timed format for all the students who are considering what courses to take. But I'm sure that on the other side of that, they were in their 8th grade year watching that happen at some point to inspire them to be a part of the program. And now seeing them reach the levels they have by earning 1st place and 3rd place at Top Tech. And then just this past weekend, hot off the presses, 1st, 2nd, and 3rd place finishes at Skills USA. So just a tremendous amount of work that they've put in, and obviously tremendous acknowledgement for their efforts. And I'm really excited and honored to be able to introduce them today. And also to talk a little bit about where they're headed after this, because this preparation leads to great opportunities for them, and obviously ultimately for ourselves. I know myself personally, when I need someone to work on my vehicles, I don't have the skills that these guys have. So that's a benefit without a doubt.
Well, this is interesting because the Universal Technical Institute Top Tech Challenge and Skills USA combine what you're learning in the classroom with a lot of preparation after school also. But for those at home, let's talk about the Top Tech Challenge. What does that look like? When you go into this challenge, what has to be done, or how do you compete? What are the events, and so on and so forth? So who wants to take that?
I'll start
Okay,
off.
Sean.
The first thing we do when we get there is they sit us down. They kind of tell us, like, this is kind of what's going to be going on. They give us a schedule of what the day is. And we take a 50-question written test. And that's just kind of give you your baseline, and you get you started for the day. And then they take us down to the high bay, which is their big auto area. And we go through about 10 stations, going anything from tires to component ID and even electrical. So.
Okay, so you've got 10 stations, and are you graded on your work at those stations?
Yes.
And so the people with the highest scores are the winners, and that's kind of how they determine.
Yeah. Highest score wins.
Okay, so highest score wins. How about Skills USA? What does that look like?
Oh, it's generally the same with you show up, there's some written tests, you have stations, but this one was a lot longer. It's a total of around like 6 or 7 hours of competition.
Okay.
There's 20 different stations, so 15 minutes each, with still a wide variety of different auto aspects, such as like brake, wheel, electrical, cooling systems, some engine components, and like just a wide variety to test your skills in the whole auto class.
Okay, Matt, how did you do in Top Tech, and then how did you do in Skills USA? Why don't you talk a little bit about both?
In Top Tech, me and partner Christian, we placed first. We got this trophy for the UTI Challenge. And then for Skills USA, I took first this year after competing last year also.
Excellent. Well, congratulations. How about yourself, Sean? Performances at Top Tech and Skills USA?
This year at the Top Tech, Zach was my partner. We got 3rd place. And at Skills USA, I also, again, took 3rd.
Okay, so double third. Now, how many people were in this contest?
At Skills USA, it was 45 people plus about 15 college students in their own segment. In UTI, it can range from because the school can bring as many as they want. So.
Okay, so over 100 probably?
Yeah.
Okay. How about yourself?
Well, in UTI this year, me and Matt took 1st, and then I did Skills USA last year, took 4th, and came back this year and took 2nd. So.
Congratulations, Christian. How much time does it take to prepare for something like the Top Tech Challenge?
Well, our auto teacher, Mr. Dunk, he had us come in during like warrior time, before and after school. Like he would set up challenges, like basically how it would be at our competition to fully prepare us and make sure we have all the skills necessary. Because he was there previously, so he knows how to prepare us. So like he had to do extra for the competition specifically besides what we learned in the auto classroom.
Okay, how about yourself, Sean?
As Matthew said, that there's a lot of before school, after school, during warrior time, even lunch if you have time. A lot of what he teaches us in class is very similar. He just sometimes gives us the idea of being under pressure and under the time. So, I mean, he gives us a couple stations, kind of puts a timer on, tells us when we're done. So, yeah, that's about it.
How about yourself, Christian? Anything to add to the preparation?
Well, these competitions, we've been going for them for the past couple of years since we were freshmen trying to get into them, and these final couple of years we're figuring out how to win them and do well at them.
Now, with what you've learned, obviously, in this area, all of you are going to take that to the next level. Unfortunately, we lose all of you to college next year, but why don't you talk about your future plans, what you're going into, and where you're going? Go ahead.
I'm going to Milwaukee School of Engineering for mechanical engineering. Plan on going there next year with some friends. Still basing off of the auto aspects, which is why I chose mechanical over the other categories of engineering.
Okay, upon graduation, what do you seek to do with your degree then in mechanical engineering? What field do you want to go into?
I like to do astronautical primarily,
Okay.
which is like the outer space and rocket type.
Wow. So maybe working for Morton Thiokol one day or something like that. How about yourself, Sean?
I'll be going to Lewis University in the fall and learning aviation maintenance, so kind of going from cars to planes, kind of moving up in the world.
Okay.
I already got a internship being set up right now with Chicago Executive Airport as airport maintenance. So as long as cutting the grass, I'll also be fueling up airplanes, cleaning them, pushing them out with the little tugs. So I'll be doing a lot of the same stuff, just on an airplane.
Oh, thank you. Great. Congratulations and good luck. Christian, how about yourself?
I'll be going to Universal Technical Institute to study diesel technology to move up into higher end diesel.
Well, Dr. Kraus, you want to talk a little bit about the culture at Willowbrook, because it seems like annually these guys are going off and coming back. They may have not won it last year, but they placed or they were in the hunt, and now find them all coming back, being state place winners and that. But just kind of talk about the culture in Top Tech and Skills USA, culture of success.
Well, I think the culture of success is evident by your commitment to continue to come back. We were talking about it on the ride over, about some of the greatest comebacks of the last year. So while maybe last year they placed different positions as juniors, they weren't satisfied with that. And I think that's a testament to who you are and your commitment then to saying that you know what you can truly accomplish. And that's going to be a springboard for everything afterward. And it's something we always talk about, is that, don't let high school be that springboard to your next level of success. And while you're enjoying these moments here, there's other students that are in your classes right now watching you and knowing the work that it took and the commitment that they're going to make to continue this tradition. So just thank you for that, because I think it's an aspect that our students continue to see demonstrated over and over again, whether it be in autos or any of the career and technical education classes. With the multitude of dual credit classes that we offer and the NATEF certification that the autos program now has, is just a testament to the work that the staff members are doing and the students are committing to every day. So thanks, guys.
Well, Matthew, Sean, and Christian, I'll give you one more chance. Just kind of shout out to anybody that made a difference in your life to help you get to this point. So I'll start with you.
My automotive skills, like my dad always taught me growing up, so I knew a bunch then working with him over summers. And also, Mr. Dunk really helped us really prepare for the competition specifically.
Awesome. Sean?
I'd like to thank my dad because, I mean, without him, I really wouldn't be anywhere right now. I'd like to thank my brothers because without, especially Tyler, who did it his first time his senior year, Dunk told him, why didn't you do it earlier? So I said, well, I'll do it early and see just where it goes, and this is where it's led me. So, and thank you to Mr. Dunk for, being a great guy.
Awesome. Christian?
Well, thanks to my parents for telling me to pick something I like and always improve on it, and thanks to Mr. Dunk for putting up with us for the last couple of years and teaching us what we need to know to win these competitions.
Oh, Matthew, Sean, Christian, congratulations on your incredible success. And next, we'll meet 3 Addison Trail student athletes who competed in the IHSA Wrestling State Tournament. Stay tuned, and we'll be right back. Welcome back. Joining me are Addison Trail Principal Michael Bolden, Addison Trail Head Wrestling Coach Mr. Rob Serio, Addison Trail students Junior Guillermo Juarez, freshman Jake Matthews, and Junior Brian Reyes. Mr. Bolden, we've had an incredible year at Addison Trail in winter sports, particularly wrestling. We want to talk about the culture of the school because of the surgence of wrestling.
Yeah, as many of our viewers know, Addison Trail, and for those that don't, Addison Trail has a long storied history of wrestling and successful wrestling at Addison Trail. It's one of our most successful programs. And our winter season, we have a tremendous number of young men who come out and turn out to become part of this program because they're so excited to be a part of something that is successful, and it really teaches them the values of being truly a student athlete. And the success that our student athletes had this winter under the direction of Coach Serio was tremendous. It really did change the culture. We had an excitement because we knew how successful they were going to be. We knew we had a chance at regionals and sectionals, both as a team as well as the individuals that we knew would get out. And so that excitement that rallies around our students, from putting the signs up in the hallways to having state send-offs for our athletes that made it to state, really created that buzz in the wintertime. That created school spirit. It's all about that being proud of who you are as an Addison Trail Blazer, carrying on a tradition that's been passed on to you guys, that you see that tradition within your wrestling room of the student athletes that came before you that really started that tradition. And for you guys to continue to carry it on over 50 years later is really a testament to the hard work and dedication of the community, of our student athletes, and really of our coaching staff and Coach Serio. I can't thank them enough for having such a positive impact on our entire school all winter long.
Coach Serio, this is the first time in a couple decades that we've seen 3 people go downstate. You want to kind of talk about what got us there today?
It's just the amount of time that they put in, preseason, postseason, in the weight room, in the morning. They're always together, and they're like a family with each other. Just being together all the time, it's contagious. People want to join because they see what we do. They see the hard work we put in the mornings, and after school, running on the track in the field house, hitting the stairs. They see it, and they see the results. They see, they listen to the announcements. They see the students' names, and they want to be a part of it. And it's come a long way. It really has. And you know what? I got a great staff. I have great coaches, and that's huge. There's no way I could do this all on my own.
and I have to say, watching you from a front row seat, not only did you make sure that we had grade school wrestling and support the work at Indian Trail, you also brought in a kids club to Addison Trail to make sure the kids in our community have wrestling in grade school. You also ensure that beyond our regular season that our students are wrestling in the Olympic styles in the off-season, freestyle, Greco-Roman, and you and your staff and the youth program working all together to make sure these kids are at every national tournament wrestling the best. And I want to thank you and your thoughts on that, on how that's all going.
Like I said, I got great assistants. Sam Geraci runs Headlock Wrestling Academy. For the little kids, he runs it for the preseason, for the postseason. And we preach to our kids that just wrestling in the regular season doesn't cut it. If you want to be average, and that's what you'll get is average. But when you put in the time, preseason, postseason, and in the weight room in the morning, you excel. And that's what these kids have done.
And the most interesting thing before us today, or with us today, we have 3 state qualifiers who will all be back next year. Jake Matthews. Jake, you are the first freshman in the history of Addison Trail to ever qualify for state. What did it take to get there? Why don't you talk about your background coming into Addison Trail and what it took you this year to get there?
I started wrestling probably when I was like 6 years old through Lake Park. I started off there, but we branched off from there and created Headlock Wrestling Academy. And then Sam Geraci is the head coach for Headlock. He talked to Coach Serio about like in a coaching position at Addison Trail, and ever since that, I've just been like hanging out with all the high school kids, getting to know Coach Serio more often. He's been there for as long as I can remember. You know, just doing like off season, working out with like older kids, older grades, preparing myself for high school. Just anything I could possibly do, all the opportunities I've gotten, I've just taken it and ran all the way until high school.
Thank you. Guillermo, you're no stranger to the show. We had you in the fall because you were an All-American last summer at the Nationals in Greco-Roman wrestling. And for our crowd, we call you Guillermo or Reza Guillermo, we call you Memo. And why don't you talk about your success this year and what it took to get to that point?
I already knew it was going to be, a lot expected from me, especially from my coaches and just, everybody in particular. Coming off from an All-American pushes me a little bit more, but I knew I was not a state qualifier. And just seeing like every kid just being out there, being able to show off that they're a state qualifier, or like see them being up in that, big arena and just seeing them do their thing. I wanted to see that for myself. I wanted to compete with the best guys in the state. And morning lifts from postseason, from off season, getting a little extra work with coach, him pushing me in the room, no matter what it was. I'd like to thank them for just helping me out, and that's one of my goals this season, and I've got a lot more to come.
And it wasn't easy. I know one of the things was, what was your body weight for most of the folk style season?
I gave up a lot. I gave up like 7, 8, sometimes 10 pounds because I couldn't, I'm not at 106 or I'm just a 100-pounder. But coach made me believe that I can wrestle with anybody in the room or anybody in the state.
And some of the guys coming down to 106 may have started at 115 to make 106, and you're coming up from 100. So, you're being pretty conservative in what you were giving up, and you still managed to have great success in the face of that adversity. So, Congratulations. Brian, how about yourself? When did you start wrestling?
Well, I started wrestling in 6th grade in Indian Trail. That's where I originally started, and then I transferred over to Padlock Wrestling in 8th grade. So that's where I started taking things really serious, and I wanted to put myself in a better position.
What did it take to get you to the state level this year? What kind of things did you have to do?
Well, it took a lot of practice, over the off season, going to camps with Coach Serio that he hosts over the summer, lifting, trying to get as much work as I can. I knew this season coming up was going to be a tough one with a lot of good kids in the state. So I just wanted myself to work on things I needed to work on so I could make the state.
If I'm a young athlete and I'm watching this and I have aspirations to be a state and national level wrestler, what advice would you give me?
Just keep your head up. People like, there's Olympic champions, who was it? Like David Taylor, Jordan Burroughs, Kyle Snyder, like they've lost in their season. They're lost in their career. You just gotta keep your head up, keep pushing, take that anger that you once had on that mat, or that anger from cutting weight, or something like that, and just put it into that next opponent, and just work at what you can have, and just keep going until you've achieved your goals.
How about yourself?
Like coach always tells me, somebody gotta pay for it, for your practices, for all the things you do. So. Just go out there, wrestle your style, and I promise you, good things will come out with practice. It's unbelievable, and what I've accomplished just because of my coaches and what I've done over the off season and everything else. So.
Okay, how about yourself, Brian?
Well, same thing as both of them. You just got to keep on practicing every day. Try to get it a little bit extra work than the others, because you could be working harder than the people that are at home, and just ask questions to your coaches, see what you need to fix, and you'll get the results you want at the end.
Mr. Bolin, a lot of pride in the examples these
Absolutely.
guys are setting on the mat. Want to talk about that a little bit?
Yeah, the pride, and I think they understated really truly their leadership and their hard work and commitment that they've shared is not just in wrestling and after school and athletics, it's in the classroom. These young men are leaders in the school. Students look up to them. They carry themselves with the respect, the dedication, the hard work in the classroom also. So they demonstrate that leadership to their peers. It's an important aspect of all of our athletics, and Coach Serio emphasizes that with our students, that they have to be successful both in the classroom as well as on the mat. And I think the skills that we heard them speak of here today, of that dedication to not give up when they are working really hard and are struggling in anything, that those translate into everyday life. So what they're learning on the wrestling mat are skills that they're going to carry with them as they go through high school and they go on with whatever pathway they choose in their lives. And those are the lessons that, you know, we talk about the curriculum and academic lessons that we have throughout the day, but those are also the lessons that our staff, coaches, teachers are teaching our students outside of the classroom when they're after school and on Saturdays and at tournaments on the weekend. So I couldn't be more proud of these young men representing Addison Trail downstate, to see them downstate and competing with the top athletes in wrestling in the state of Illinois really is a proud moment as a principal. I know it is a proud moment for them, for their coaches and their families, and I'm just glad that they are the young men that are carrying the torch of the tradition of Addison Trail Wrestling. I thank you very much.
Coach Serio, final thoughts. I mean, obviously you built a number of opportunities for young men to get better at wrestling and really seize that. And obviously here are 3 examples of people who have done what it takes and you know, achieved some success. Your thoughts?
You know, just keep believing in what we're having you do. Take advantage of the opportunities that we're presenting to you because it works. It absolutely works. And I'm excited for next season. They have these guys back. These are my 3 captains for next year, and they've certainly deserved it, and it should be a fun season.
Excellent. Well, why don't we talk about, you know, shout-outs, people who got you. I'm going to give you a couple seconds to thank a lot of people in life. So, Jake, let's kick it off with you. Who would you recognize to the people that helped you get where you're at today?
Well, there's definitely been a lot of people who's pushed me through, but my parents, for one, my dad, my mom, always behind me in the corner ever since I was little, pushing me, telling me what to do, what not to do, like helping me get there. My grandfather, he over the summer last year, he went to like all kinds of places, Virginia Beach, he went to Iowa, Indiana, Wisconsin, like all different states to give me the opportunity to compete because my parents couldn't make it, because I also have little sisters who are in sports and are active as well. So he was a big part of it. Coach Serio, he pushed me every single day in the wrestling room, even when I, you know, trying to get a break or two, no breaks, just keep moving. You gotta keep moving, getting that practice in. People say practice makes perfect, but it's actually perfect practice makes perfect. You gotta keep striving and doing the right moves, and that's what Coach Serio's pushed me to do.
Excellent.
I'd like to thank, obviously, my coaches, Coach Gerazy, Coach Serio, Coach Holland, Coach Kelly. They helped me out a lot. Even when, you know, I feel like sometimes I don't need it, they always give me a different way of looking at things. They're always there for me. I honestly I don't think I could do this without them. My mom, my dad, I love them so much. Even when I don't want to do what they say because I'm tired of practice, my coaches taught me discipline to help my family out with anything they need. So I like to thank them a lot. Also my grandpa for, you know, always asking me if I need anything. If I need, you know, something to eat, you know, he's always there for my family. So I like to thank them a lot.
Thank you. How about you, Brian?
Well, I like to say thank you to like my parents because they wake up every morning, take me to practices. My mom especially, she wakes up early, makes my lunch and make sure I get everything good for the morning. And she wakes up super early. And my coaches too, Coach Serio and Coach Gerazy, Coach Holland and Coach Kelly, always push me to do my best. And whenever I tend to give up or something, they're always there behind me telling me to push, because it'll all pay up in the end. And especially Coach Geraci, because he's always I always go practice with him, and he always pushes me and corrects me with everything.
And the unsung heroes too are, each one of you guys probably have a practice partner at some point in time who's not at your level, but someday they will be, because every day they work with each and every one of you. And it's funny how we talk about giving back, and I know Memo last summer was special too, because you had alumni, Veronica Carlson sat in your corner at the National. So I think, you know, the Addison Trail, the story of people who keep giving back, and you will do the same. So congratulations on your incredible success. As you can see, the tradition of athletic excellence continues at Addison Trail in Willowbrook. We are extremely proud of these student athletes for their accomplishments and for representing their school and community in such a positive manner. Thank you for joining us, and be sure to tune in again during our next segment of the State of District 88, which will air right here on ACTV. To stay up to date with all the great things happening in District 88, visit our website at www.dupage88.net. You can sign up for our electronic newsletter and follow us on Facebook and Twitter. Thank you.